Hey guys. Okay, so I would like to start my video off by acknowledging the people who believe that I should express myself in detail about what I desire, the things that I want, and be more specific about what I look forward to having. And this has everything to do with my work ethics, how I present myself, what will I be doing to help people that are near or away from me? How can I help the community? And I honestly do believe that we help, and not just me, but we help as many people as we can just by being ourselves. We help as many people as we can whenever we're in a field, whether it's assisting others with medicine, um, a type of therapy, whether it's making clothing for someone, whether it's helping someone read and write, whether it's helping someone get food for themselves. We assist different people in many different ways. Now, there has been more to the knowledge of society that many people do still know and many people don't know. But there has been multiple amounts of information regarding who controls the universe. And that is us. Okay, we are the ones that control the universe. We are the people that move things, that help guide people in one direction and into the other direction, as well as the things that we use to help us manage our direction. Now, um, this is just a quick video. It may not be that quick, but it is going to be detailing and explaining thoroughly because I have previously made a video and I've also discussed in detail what I wanted, but because I do have some new viewers who are coming on to my YouTube channel or has not seen my Instagram, which is MJ Blue Thriller, by the way. Yes, I do use Michael Jackson because Michael Jackson was in search for he was in search of the lost child with the gospel that is already in script about who's going to come at a certain period of time within the world that we live. There are kings, there are queens, there are princes, there are princesses, there are different type of individuals who were listed within the gospel in ancient script that is playing out over and over again. And this time there has been an identifier of a knowledgeable being, a few knowledgeable beings who knew this information before I even knew myself, because people have a passion for studying and um, um, researching different things to help other people, as of what I was saying earlier, that we help people in many different ways. Now, there was a cosmic shift that was occurring, that was going to be occurring during the year of 2000. We've had multiple cosmic shifts, but one in particular indicated that there would be a lost child with the gospel, that he needed to be found and placed into a position that will save him from the destruction or the unhealthy relationship or that he was in, so that he can continue to prosper. Because when we find different things that helps people or beings, then we will be able to really acknowledge the amount of help and give that as a blessing to help people and beings. Now, the reason why I'm using people and beings is because some of us who are within the African um, descentive bloodline, we are labeling ourselves as beings because we are not human. human are for the recreation of a newer type of breed that established after the establishment of the original breed, which was African Americans, which was Africans. And there is two different types, and over time there has been a crossbreed, and people have had children with different type of people or other breeds, and it kind of got, mixed up, not in a bad way, because most of that was just out of pure love. So what I'm saying is that Michael Jackson went to school shortly after he left the Jackson Five, and he was in school, and he studied astrology and a lot of other different things that we aren't really studying in our everyday school unless it comes up. And it's that one subject that's not overly studied, because you're overly studying on math and reading and science and everything else, but the astrology and the things that happen within the world that we live in, and how it occurs and evolves around the universe, and how the cosmos and the universe and the planets that was here before man, how all of these things were created, okay, to play a role in the world that we live in today. And a lot of time we get our minds focused on, we are the people that um orchestrate and settle and create these things. But a lot of things that we haven't really practiced studying is, how did the planets get here? How did the universe get here? A lot of people like to base their main source of information from Egypt, and that is absolutely okay, because let's be honest, the pyramids in Egypt, a lot of the things is really ancient. And what we have been told but not enough of is that some of us, is that our history goes beyond Egypt. So that type of information is really, really beneficial, and is really important for many people who find that interesting. And even people who don't find it interesting, it will be important for them when they get the knowledge that people who find it interesting have. And that plays a big role, so, in what you believe and how you think about things, and how you continue to use your mind based on the methods that our ancient ancestors used to help um, balance out a prosperous lifestyle, because those were all of the answers of how to maintain yourself, or maintain the things around you. Now we still have these type of information here that's well enough for us to abide by, but so many other good information that is already studied by the people who love that, who is sharing the information. It helps them, because if you think about it, or when you think about it, Michael Jackson went to school and they found the lost child. The lost child was me. It is me. And I had no idea about astrology. I had no idea. The lost child would be an individual with a kind heart, bright as the sun. Okay, you can see it in his face. He's beautiful, he's bright, he's intelligent. I haven't seen anyone like him. He's a different type of being. And some people are gifted with individuals within the family, children, and they may have someone in the family that isn't aware of how gifted someone is, and they may be treated as if they are a regular individual or person, which they are. But whenever someone has a bright gift, and they're happy and they're excited, and they provide so much good feedback, energy, they make you feel good, there is just unexplainable. You get shocked, you just stop and stare, you get um almost hypnotized a little bit because I'm like, wow, this person, I've never seen anyone like this. That's someone you want to be nice to, especially when they're being nice to you. And they have a kind heart and they're so loving to the people around them, themselves, and they love the things around them. And that's someone you want to help, you want to be friends with, you want to talk nicely to, especially when they're giving off the characteristics of not wanting to do any harm, even though they're receiving the harmful characteristics or mindset of other people. That is something that you don't want to ignore. And it's not just to me, but everyone needs that, no matter what color you are or what type of breed or of a being you are. It doesn't matter. So my thing is that someone who was just as righteous as me, and we're not perfect, but there are people out there who deserve to have that title as perfect once they have conquered all of the things that people hate of a person, and they don't provide that, but they're still getting that. You know, that is the number one thing that is definitely needed to pay attention to, because you can overlook it and be nice to the person, not harm them, but don't harm them and then still overlook it. And some people can see it and still decide to do that because their heart is not where I can't say the heart is not where it should be, because they're free. People are free to do what they want. But when you have the type of gospel related, righteously um, adjusted condition of love, heart, attitude, and mindset, that is someone that you will want to reward for their hard, kind work, because they have feelings and it hurts them, and it hurts their feelings to feel like they are not being cared for properly when they can see that they don't have the type of environment that they should be in. And most of the time, some people can't see it. But when you have a righteous spirit, you can see it. So there's nothing wrong with that person. The only thing that's wrong is that they're around an individual that they are not healthy with, because anything that makes um, a sweet, generous, righteous being uncomfortable, you got to try to find out why. And then once you find out why, then if that person doesn't have the family member to help that person, and there's people on the outside who is righteous enough and in the position to help them, then you help them. And, when people, to go back to the question that I was going to ask about, me being in detailed about what I want, you know, I have no idea why I would have to re-say it, because I've said it last year and the year before. But there was it's like I can tell some people, and I do have to watch what I say, but I'm the alchemist here. You're the alchemist. No matter what, just as long as you know how to direct your message to certain individuals, they will be able to understand. You're the creator. You can do and whatever it is that it takes for people to understand your message, like I'm getting ready to present myself right now. So it's almost like I said, okay, some people want me to be more in detailed about what I want. I said, okay. I was already in detail about what I want. I'll be a little bit more in detail about what I want. So a lot of people feel, because I know the information that I know, that I'm a threat to them because of some of the information that I provide to them. Like, for instance, on my Instagram, they feel as if it is a threat to certain individuals or to a community or whoever, and it's the gospel, and anything that's the truth should not be a threat. Truth can be threats, but in this case, it's a lot different. You see, Michael Jackson signed an agreement deal with the Black Occult, okay? And whether people realize this or not, different deals happen, and people can abide by them and people cannot abide by them. you don't have to abide by them at all. This is something that I didn't even know. And the reason for him doing it is because he wanted to protect the people like me and you who deal with prejudice and or segregated situations that should not. It should be integrated so that people can have the fair conditions of lifestyles that others and everyone else should have. So, by that being said, anyone who is really in the field of controlling a mass amount of people that is enabling them from receiving the help or disabling them from receiving the help that they righteously need, then and it's not just parts of it, it's as a whole, because it is possible for you to help someone as a whole and not just little itty bitty parts and still have a righteous lifestyle. When they say you can't help everybody, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. So, and that's the gospel because it's already there. Once you give someone the gospel with physical action and mental abilities, then you'll be able to provide the prosperous lifestyle for them. Okay. And when they complain about something that they don't have, then it won't have any effect because they have been given everything that they want and need. Now, we can't always have everything that we want because you can say, I want to own everybody in this world. Okay, you can't do that. You can own yourself, and any person who wants to own everybody in this world definitely is has not understood what it means to understand the gospel, because we're all free. And those are mainly the people who have captivated the members of people who go to work for minimum wage. That's the one to own everybody. And some people, it's not their fault because they're following behind the system of the Confederate people who practice this as normal, as an everyday lifestyle, to go to work all day and miss out your entire day and continue it every single day and get the weekends off, if you get the weekends off, and for minimal wage, and then pay taxes, and then they take taxes out of your taxes, and then that whole thing is just like, wait a minute, where's the freedom in that? So once you understand, it's okay to say that you feel like taxes are needed, but when you think about it, they're not needed, because the money that you spend when you're getting paid, that's going back into the system. They've made enough products to start with to keep the train going. Okay, so they didn't have to sell, they didn't have to buy a bulk of things and then distribute it out to different stores and then get their money back, because all of their products, when all of their products are sold and it's getting back to the system, they have enough money to put aside for themselves, and they have enough money to generate it to continue to have it going over and over. Now, you can be a little bit extra and add taxes to this, but really, even if you took the taxes out, then there still be financially stable the person whose company it is to even put the business in process by having the different individual things, the merchandises for sale. They're still going to be financially stable at home. They're making enough money, with or without the taxes. So it is a little bit slavery for someone to not keep the money after they don't work so hard for it. That's why they're doing overtime, because you took out the taxes. That's why they can't go home and rest, because they have to work for what you took out. And people don't understand, but when they do, they understand that is what we should be escaping from. That's what we are escaping from right now. So when people say that I need to be a little bit more detailed, um, there will be a king. There is no more president. Barack Obama came in 2008, a little bit before, and as you can see, if you look at the presidents, there's all white presidents, and then there's one black. So when you show um, that picture to a group of children, then you would definitely be able to see the reaction on their face and like, whoa, he's black. Yeah, what's the problem with that? You know? Um, but when you understand it from a childlike mind, you say, oh, something is over. They even the children can see it. You see, and a lot of people, I don't want to say a lot of people, some people may fear a black person being in the position that was usually ran by the representation of a white man. And because we live in a world where things are changing constantly and people are understanding who they are and how much gift they have within, and they're experiencing that and many other things by being um, awarded to do certain positions that inspire others based on the amount of talent that a person has. That is being so heartwarmingly accepted from the people who have worked so hard to be in a position that matches their skill without going to school. And some people do go to school for years and years and years just to do something that they had within them without going to school to practice certain things that they didn't need. You see, because that was also the old Confederate ways of the system. People would say, well, I want to go to school to become um, a singer. I want to go to school to become a um, a bus driver. I want to go to school to drive trucks. I want to go to school to build cars, become a mechanic. I want to go to school to, whatever it is you want to go to school for. There were some curriculum activities that were not necessary for you to take over and over to pass, when the main thing that you needed to practice to pass was the field that you were going into, that was going to be requiring you to do that particular um, activity so that you can master that. And then once you mastered it, then you can either go straight into work, or you can take another course if you really like the course that you like and learn something else. But once you've mastered something, you should be getting not you shouldn't be paid minimum wage. You should be automatically have a job within the field that you desire, especially if you're doing that field, that desired field well enough um, that they hired you. If especially when you've met all the requirements. So back to what I was saying, there will be a king and there's no more presidents. And I had no idea that people were hiding this from me, but they did it to surprise me, and they also did it to protect me. And I'm so thankful to God. I am blessed. Thank you so much. Because, I've been through a lot in my life to where, and I know other people have been through different things in their life too, but mine is a little bit different. And everyone is different, but mine is extremely different because someone with the characteristic, the personality, the spirituality, the righteousness, and the most respectful type of being like me is is meant, I was meant to be saved, to be in an atmosphere, in an environment that matches mine, my creativity, my mindset, my personality, my characteristics, my soul. Years ago, someone was meant to take me out of my home and place me in a new home where there will be more abundance for me to prosper within, because I practiced that naturally and gave it out so much to the wrong people in a family that did not serve me righteously enough. Now, I know that may sound hardcore, but I am the being that felt even bad to even mention that because it's embarrassing. It was embarrassing, and I had no comfort in telling someone that the person that raised me did a bad job. That does not feel good at all. It does not, because I know that they have done some good. They've done plenty of good. But to look at it as an overall picture, it wasn't the healthiest situation that I needed to be in. And it lasted for years. And that was a part of the lost child, of what that lost child would have to have gone through. So because Michael found me, and it was in 2000, we moved I'm from Washington, D.C. My mother, and my brother moved to, the rest of my family stayed in up north. I do got some family in South Carolina, but I never really got a chance to like really spend time with them through my teenage, childhood years because, I had a mother who, separated herself from her family and from the resources around that normal children had normally, experienced. And it was a lot of things that I just not um, I just did not have that a lot of other people did, as growing up. And a lot of people were very surprised because I continued to keep my humbleness, my kind heart, my patience, my love, my respect, my peace, my smile, and my nice ability to just be kind to others, no matter what household I came from. And the most extreme thing that I had to witness is that people didn't even believe that I didn't get the help that they thought I would receive because of how I carried myself. They had no idea what I had to come home to every single day. They had no, for years. And so that's when they will be able to tell who the soul child was, who the lost child was that was already described in ancient civilized texts that got people to really view who this being was. And the entire time it was me. And I knew that there was something different about me that did not fit in with most people. And not a lot of other people believe that also. But I definitely didn't see why I didn't have a celebrity that I looked up to in the media come and get me and gave me a job in the media so that people can see me represent myself to know that I'm a different type of being. And what they could have added to their family in the entertainment was here the entire time, and he doesn't need to be in school or go through training because he knows how to act and he's good at what he does naturally. I did not understand that, but I believed that I would be there with them one day. And the entire time, I was being tricked because they saw me and I knew they saw me, but I had no idea that the people that I love to see on television, whether it was in music or they were actors or comedians or comics, whatever it was in the media, I had no idea that the righteous people were working together and finding a way to bring me into where their environment is, because I knew that I would make it somewhere, someday, somehow, but I would have to get on the internet in front of a mass amount of people and present myself as an entertainer with some type of characteristics, whatever type of ability that I have, whatever creativity that I had and have, I had to use that. Now, I had a family who was not really acknowledging and proud about me using YouTube to get on, to express myself, to tell them where I'm coming from, what type of family I have, the background that I've come from, and my struggles, they wasn't happy about me expressing that. But I knew what I had to take in order to get somewhere, and I had to get on YouTube or find some platform online and present myself to the world the way that I wanted myself to be presented, so people could know who I am and who I was and who I want to be. And over time, I continued to practice developing my different social skills online. And then I magically got noticed that I was being represented the entire time. And I had no idea. And I felt so good. I cried inside because someone that's just as nice, as sweet as this, he's been through this and that and all of this, and he's still alive. Yes, they said, "Oh my gosh, he should be here." Yes, I had that type of dream when I was in middle school. In middle school. It's another reason why I didn't feel like I needed to go to Job Corps, because my mother made me go to Job Corps. Made me. I was living in her house still, and she was like, "No, you either gonna go to Job Corps or you can't stay in here. You can go to the shelter." I'm like, "What?" She was one of those type. But I appreciate, God knows I appreciate that I was able to stay at her house and be safe. But scientifically and spiritually, the people who knew what I knew that it was not safe enough for me to prosper righteously. But they seen me prosper righteously within the midst of all of that bad environment, that they knew it was me that was chosen. And that's the reason why I am labeled as the lost child, because it is already in ancient texts and ancient writings. So I just wanted to say that, what I would want. Well, I would like to, and this is in detail. Well, I've acted on social media. I've done my Instagram. I've acted on Twitter. I've acted on YouTube. I've acted on Facebook. I've acted on pretty much all the social media networks that's out there that I have practiced doing something on, engaging in some type of way. They know that that's me. You can't really hide that. They know what's the truth and what's not. And then most importantly, beside the soul is the main thing that's important. The spirit of that person is the main thing that's important. But the music that I listen to, it's already described as the type of lifestyle that a righteous person would want to have and should be in, by the type of music that I chose to listen to. And they've been watching my YouTube, and they've been watching the music that I downloaded on my phone for many, many years, the entire time. And the whole time, they already knew that it was me, that I was the chosen one. And I'm so thankful, because that's something, when you go in, when you're as special, as nice and kind, and as knowledgeable as you are, and you choose to continue to keep that righteous soul that people love and care for and need to be around, through the midst of all of the drama and the heartache and the pain that you had to deal with, and you still have that soul, that righteous soul, that means the world to so many people, and they adore it, and I adore them, because I've also adored the people who have saved me from a family that was not serving me in the best of the best ways. Now, no one can be in the best of the best ways, but actually, yeah, it can. So I would like to say, let's not get too believable when people say no one cannot serve you the best of the best. Yeah, they can. So I am thankful that God kept me. I am very thankful. But another thing that I had to deal with is Christianity. I was born into Christianity, and fearful of not doing something that I am supposed to be doing that was already in the Bible. especially when I had a grandmother who was heavily invested into the Word of God and the newer way of life and the things that people practice that the Bible said do not practice, or what a person who was really highly invested in the Christianity word and being strict about what they feel you should do, being in that type of environment can have an effect on someone's mind and ability to grow also. But because God kept me through that and I went to church and I got out of church and realized that I am the church, and had to realize that the grandmother that I had, which I love her, but the grandmother that I had, um, yeah, other people who were really highly invested in church, they may not believe in the new ways of someone young being spiritually gifted like that and still having the right direction, without needing their Christianity guidance, because the Christianity guidance will be coming from um, how they present themselves. So whether someone does something different that they feel is unrighteous, you know, you know, the part of accepting someone's creativity and knowing who's a threat and who's not a threat is different. And you should understand that some people were brought up with very strict parents, and they continued that same strict mentality to teach. And by whipping your children or putting them on punishment is a form of abuse, because you are always supposed to be able to nicely and calmly talk to someone, your child, without beating them or whooping them or punishing them, because the way that you conversate with them, they understand in a way to where they won't do something if the parent feel like it's bad without them having to do that. But because it's been normal and practice within other families who practice whipping and abusing the children like that, it may not be looked at as abuse to them. It may just be looked at as like a form of chastising to set them straight. But really, it's the thing is, so you mean you cannot talk to your child without raising your voice and making them fearful of you, and without putting your hands on them? You can't tell them how that idea or that thing that you don't think is safe or healthy for them to do, is it going to help them feel better without doing those type of activities that's abusive? That's how much the mindset people have been manipulated by the abuse they've been getting, and it practiced, and it's been happening over and over again. And then next thing you know, there was a abusive relationship within the family. And this is what happens when you've been taken from the thought of how you are supposed, that you were meant to be teaching your own siblings in the way, within the righteous ways, instead of the Caucasian who misinterpret a way of establishing others because they had took a lot of things and made people enslaved to work here, and then next thing you know, they have so much to deal with, and they feel like they have to chastise the child to get them straight. But really, once you get out of the slave system of going to work every single day, and you feel like once you get out of that mentality, you have the time then to build and love your children and grow. But it's so much other things within the world that was a distraction. They couldn't even focus on what were the righteous ways. And the fear of going to church was and the fear of going to church was hindering certain people from growing spiritually the righteous way, because they did not practice, they were the church. So if there wouldn't have to be no church for people to go to once everyone was taught the righteous way from the beginning. Everyone would be on the righteous same accord. So when you ask me what I want in detail, okay, I want seriously, I want, because some people may not be there mentally to know that I'm a peaceful person and I'm not out there to harm anyone. I had no idea this was going to happen. So it's a blessing for me because I've been saved from, and I'm still saved. I have been saved from the destruction of people without the right mindset, who don't know that I'm the type of person that you don't want to hurt, because I'm the type of person that don't want to hurt you. It's just it's that simple. So I'm thankful. And in detail, I want a celebrity to come drive to me, pick me up, say, hey, we are going to a place and you are going to be protected for the rest of your life. And I get in the car with them and they drive me off to a nice place and it's safe and I have security, and people find out that I am the king of the United States, and by the time they realize it, I am already on the computer screen and saying, hey, how are you all? Thank you all so much for allowing me to be the king of the United States. I've worked so hard and I will start explaining and then people will start going to my social media page, looking at who I am, because they've never seen me before, and some people have. Now, that's a brilliant idea, because therefore I'll be safe, and they can't just go out there and try to harm me for people who don't know that I'm a person that is not going to harm them. They can't do anything because I'm already there making the video, updating you about. Sorry, I got cut off. And I'll be nowhere to be found because I'll be safe with people who are going to take care of me. So, while that is being said, I love that idea and I love that plan. And by that time, it will draw traffic to my social media. People will go on my information and look to see who I am, and then they start reading my Instagram, because I've given you the gospel of how to get to where you would need to be. Those are all the answers from the ancient scripts in my own words, and it's readable and it's understandable. And some people can read and some people can't, and that's okay, but someone will be able to understand my words and will help someone else down the line. Then my future representation would be on different people's TV shows. They would see me open up a little bit more. Then that's a gate open for me. And then next thing you know, everyone will be inspired by me and how I act and how I carry myself, that they will copy that, and everyone will be right back to a righteous, healthy, nice, sweet environment. And people will be nice to each other and love each other and know that everything is possible. So thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate this. Had no idea I was going to make this, but I'm glad I was able to make this and go in full detail for those. But as a king, I will be taken care of with food. I will be taken care of with everything that I want, because I don't want to hurt anybody and I don't have that desire. So why would anyone want to hurt me? You have to just be jealous and not know that I'm the type of person that don't want to hurt you, for you to be wanted to hurt me, because because it just doesn't make any sense. Luther Vandross said, anyone who had a heart would love me too, so why won't you? He said, you couldn't really have a heart and hurt me like you've hurt me and be so untrue, because anyone who had a heart would love me too. Peace, guys. See you later.